Good evening to the participants of the SLW 732. Welcome to my virtual class. And we are dealing about the Tanzania human rights protection and promotion plans, action plans. How far the Tanzania is protecting and promotion of the human rights to their public. Yes, we are dealt up to that extent in my last class, and this class that I would like to deal 1.1.3, that is the developing Tanzania's National Human Rights Action Plan, how it would be. Yes, without wasting the time, let me see that in October 2009, the government of the United Republic of Tanzania, through the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, now called the Ministry of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs, and the Commission for the Human Rights and Good Governance, CHRAGG, and with the technical support from the UN system in Tanzania, convened a national consultative workshop, that is NCW, to develop a roadmap towards the elaboration of the National Human Rights Action Plan. So three organs will join together, that is the Constitutional and Legal Affairs and CHRAGG, and as well as the UN system in Tanzania. To participants from the government and the civil societies, organizations and academia also be the state stakeholders in this program. The workshop participants recognized by the United Republic of Tanzania has steadily progressed toward the strengthen, the promotion and the protection of human rights through a variety of the legislative, institutional and policy measures and commitments. So the Tanzania made a lot of efforts to see that the international instruments provisions are domesticated and as per the norms of the Constitution of Tanzania also, which made it very much clearly that we have to follow the international instruments when you are the Tanzania is one of the party to that charter. Despite such a program, challenge remain in the forms of number one, constitutional gaps, including the absence of the economic, social and the cultural rights protection. These are the challenges. Number two, the legislative provisions that are contrary to our commitment towards the international human rights standards, then it should be changed. Then the third, the need to further domesticate the international human rights standards. And the fourth challenge is the need to develop and reform the legislation in conformity with the international standards. And the fifth challenge is the substantial and operational strengthening and accessibility of the human rights institutions with particular focus on the CHRAGG, and the sixth challenge is legal system deficit in terms of the human rights awareness and accessibility of remedies. So when these challenges will be combated, then at that instance only the full-fledged implementation, protection, promotion of the human rights in Tanzania seems to be done, and it will be done. And to address these human rights challenges, NCW's participants recommended the government should develop and adapt the NHRAP to strengthen the protection and the promotion of the human rights throughout the Union Republic of Tanzania. Then what would be the coordination committee will do it in this regard? The Ministry of the Constitution and the Legal Affairs, MOCLA within parentheses, through the Attorney General's chambers, and in the collaboration with the CHRAGG, led the progress drafting of the NHRAP, and in Zanzibar, the Ministry of the Constitutional Affairs and Good Governance, now the President's Office, Public Service and Good Governance, that is POPSGG, served as a focal point. So oversee the drafting process, MOCLA facilitated the creation of the Temporary Coordination Committee in March 2010, And these are all the efforts, both the mainland of Tanzania as well as in Zanzibar. They try to make it out action plan in the NHRAP. This committee was made up of the 20 members drawn from the various human rights stakeholders, including the representative from the Prime Minister's office, the MOCLA, the Attorney General Chambers, the CHRAGG, the Ministry of the Constitutional Affairs and Good Governance of the Zanzibar, the Ministry of the Community Development, Gender and the Children Academia, including the University of Dar es Salaam School of Law, the United Nations, the Tanzania Police Force, the Tanzania Prison Service, the Human Rights NGOs, including Association of Persons with Disabilities. So all these organizations will take part to see the combat, the challenges which I enumerated just before in the other. And these challenges should be overcome at that instant. The full-fledged protection and promotion of the human rights should be there in the Union Republic of Tanzania. So the methodology of the drafting process, they made it as an initial step, the drafting process, the coordination committee undertook their comprehensive evaluation of human rights situation in Tanzania. So various parts in the Tanzania, the commission make the evaluation and calling the the reports from the regional and national and the district level to prepare the evaluation of the coordination committee, solicited the information from the broad range of the stakeholders in mainland of Tanzania as well as the Zanzibar Island, and inviting them to submit the reports or papers or the documents pertaining to the human rights. In 2011, the committee conducted a desk review of these submissions. As such, national policies and strategies such as Mukukuta and Mukuja MDGs Vision 2025 and 5 years development plan, that is FYDP within parentheses, spanning from the 2011 to 2015 and 16, and the existing action plan, other ministerial department and agencies. The purpose of the desk review was to identify the human rights issues, action taken, gaps, challenges, and proposed solutions for that regard. So, recognizing the development of the NHRAP is a national undertaking, the coordination committee worked to develop a consultative process to foster a sense of ownership among the stakeholders. So, it is not only one organization, but it is the group of the organization, including the civil society and stakeholders, and following the University of Dar es Salaam also, making an effort to see that how the protection and promotion of the human rights in the entire Union Republic of Tanzania. The NHRAP was developed through the significant research analysis and consultations with the stakeholders and the officials at all levels of the government. Then following the desk review, the coordination committee conducted a national stakeholders workshop on the establishment of the NHRAP. The representatives of the government and CSO, political parties and academia attended the session and discussed the concept papers on the need for the NHRAP, the expected benefits and the drafting process. The recommendations that came out of the consultation were incorporated in the drafting process by the coordination committee. So whatever the reports sent by the various agencies are incorporated in the draft by the coordination committee. As follows of the desk review stakeholders workshop, the coordination committee conducted field surveys and 10 selected region of the Tanzania to verify the information and fill in the gaps in the desk review reports. So wherever the human rights violations are come up and the report has reached over there, and there the committee will go and make an inquiry and investigate and send the report. The coordination committee then met in the Morogoro in the June 2011 to consolidate the findings of desk reviews and field survey reports. Based on the consolidation process, the coordination committee produced a background report, which is a comprehensive baseline assessment of the human rights situation in the United Republic of Tanzania. So the background report also made the recommendation to overcome the challenges and more fully advance human rights. Based on the findings and recommendations of the background report, the coordination committee prepared the draft of NHRAP. Again, it will be sent to the public for their opinion, and the stakeholders will review it and edit it, revise it. And not only those organizations, but even education institutions like the University of Dar es Salaam, also the School of Law, taken the part of it to see that the rules and regulations and provisions which is incorporated over there is properly addressed or not. So, a recommendation of the UN member states, the government affirmed its commitment to the development of the NHRAP as one of the highest national priorities. Finally, the draft was then presented before the National Stakeholder Workshop to seek the validation and public inputs. So, once the public inputs were incorporated into the final draft, the draft was presented the other stakeholder to as follows. So, it will be sent to the various other organizations to see that whether they could make in their own input if there would be any gaps. And in Zanzibar, and discussed for the 2 days also there, and on 15 September, another presentation was made before the Committee of the Constitution and Legal Affairs of the Zanzibar House, representative again. And overall, that these are all the efforts they are doing to see that all the challenges which are facing in the Tanzania will be made a good solution for that one. And the refined draft was finally presented before the Inter-Memorial Technical Committee, both the Tanzania mainland and the Zanzibar, and the 2012 and the 2012 respectively in the different dates in the November. Yes, in all these meetings, comments and inputs were received, which assisted to improve the content of the action plan. So, the goal of the NHRAP is that the Tanzania Commission, the Human Rights Action Plan, seeks to strengthen the human rights in the United Republic of Tanzania through the promotion of the human rights-based approach. Within parentheses, we can say it is HRBA, that is the human rights-based approach to development and the poverty reduction. It's the main goal are to promote and protect the inalienable rights provided to the Constitution of the United Republic of Tanzania and the Constitution of Zanzibar also, to guarantee the human rights according to the international agreements, international standards, and to deepen the linkage between the human rights and the development strategies in the respective place, that is the Tanzanian mainland as well as in the Zanzibar. So what is the objective of the National Human Rights Action Plan? It is put it in the small Romans. The purpose, the above goals, the NHRAP set the following strategies. Objectives are there. Then the small Roman 1, to provide a need assessment of the issue of the rights and to formulate the strategic activities or action that promote the human rights. Then small Roman 2, to spell out the government's commitment to the human rights through the laudable actions. 3, to improve the enjoyment of the rights for all citizens, particularly the poor management people, even vulnerable communities or downtrodden people living in the rural areas of the country, those who are marginalized. And the 4th point is to promote the outstanding understanding, tolerance, gender equality, and the peaceful coexistence among all groups in the country. And the 5th point is to enhance the accessibility, credibility, efficiency, and accountability of the CHRAGG and other national human rights institutions by strengthening and extending their institutional capacity. Participants, are you there? If you are there, you read the next point. That is the 6th, small Roman. Anyone can unmute and read. Oh, there is a problem of internet. Okay. The 6th point is to mainstream the human rights and promote the human rights based approach to the national development policies and plans, particularly the 5 years development plan, which is a long-term based plans. And the seventh point is to further mobilize the national and international resources to protect and promote the human rights. And the eighth point is to coordinate existing human rights initiatives in various sectors and facilitate joint and cost-effective management. So the efficiency will be taken into consideration, and the next framework of the protection of the human rights is the measures to strengthen the protection of human rights and democratic principles in the democratic country, that how it can be protected. The United Republic of Tanzania is a sovereign, it is a democratic state founded as a nation of equal, of free individuals enjoying the freedom, justice, fraternity, and concord. Of course, if the presidential form of the government is there, the constitution recognizes that the sovereignty resides in the people. That's the primary objective of the government in the welfare of the people. Yes, like the Indian constitution will start the we people, because the constitution for the people. And in the same manner here also for the people in Tanzania, key measures to strengthen the promotion and the protection of the human rights and fundamental democratic principles, including the supremacy of the constitution and the rule of law. Yes, the Grand Nam Constitution, the rule of law of Dicey, and other those who are the supporters of the rule of law, the separation of the powers of the government, the Malthus theory, regular elections, and the multi-party system of government, and an independent judiciary, because the executive, legislative, and judiciary, both are, all the three organs are independent, and there would not be any clash in it. In addition, the Constitution established a Bill of Rights, fundamental rights, as well as the state institution to support the human rights and fundamental democratic principles. The Constitution Bill of Rights, how it can protect it. In the respective Bills of Rights, the Constitution of the United Republic of Tanzania of 1977, time to time amended. The Revolutionary Government of Zanzibar in 1984 contains the far-reaching prohibition against the discrimination and affirmed the rights to life, liberty, security of the person, privacy, participation in the governance, work, and fair remuneration, as well freedom pertaining to the movement, expression, opinion, religion, assembly, association, and the formation of the trade, unions, other economic and social and cultural rights are defined in the program language and are not enshrined within the Bills of Rights. Yes, of course, this also covers with the women, children, as well as the person with the disabilities. The Constitution provides for the right to all the Tanzanians to take legal action to the High Court of the Tanzania to ensure the protection of human rights guaranteed in the Constitution, that is Article 30, Class 5, that is 30 and within parenthesis 5, the Constitution of Zanzibar provides a similar right to institute a suit in the High Court of Zanzibar if the Constitution or an individual's human rights are violated. They are given in the Constitution of the Zanzibar under the Article 25, capital A1. In addition, the Constitution of Zanzibar empowers the High Court to request the information from the government officials in the interest of determining whether the Constitution has been violated and any human rights are violated or the norms are not followed upon a finding that the Constitution has been violated or not, to order the government officers to take the remedial action is based on or emphasized in the Constitution of Zanzibar under the Article 25, capital A1. Then the institutional framework for the protection of the human rights, how the institutional framework will make it out and strengthen the institutional work. There are many institutions with the government, with the United Republic of Tanzania and the Revolutionary Government of Zanzibar. In both the places, a good governance, accountability, transparency, and the constitutional democracy, as well as for the ensuring the protection of the human rights. So among the most important institutions that we studied already, that CHRAJG and even the US unit, UK that UNA unit of the Tanzania and the local bodies. It was established by the Constitution of the United Republic of Tanzania under the Article 129 as an independent national human rights institution that is called the NHRI. That national human rights institutions with a mandate to protect and promote the human rights. As a part of the protective mandate, in when CHRAGG also receives the allegations and complaints of violation of human rights and the principle of the administrative justice and conduct the inquiries or research into those matters. So overall what I want to say is that all the organizations are the institutional framework will be strengthened to see that all the challenges will be combated and the fair justice will be given irrespective of the class, creed and color and origin and culture. It is also mandated to advise the government, state organs and private sector institutions on the issue relating to human rights and administrative justice also. So another key institution is the Prevention of the Combating the Corruption Bureau, that is the PCCB, a law enforcement body established by the Prevention and Combating of the Corruption Act. Under the Act of the 2007, the Bureau is maintained to prevent the corruption, investigate the allegation of the corruption, examines and advise on the practices and procedures of the public. And parastatal, yes, and private organization to facilitate the directions, detection of the corruption, to prevent the corruption and educate the society on the effect of the corruption. Yes, the Court of Appeal also given a judgment that takrima, yes, takrima is nothing but a disguised form of bribery. So it is said to be the bribery. Other institutions include the public leaders, ethics secretary, the National Electoral Commissions, the Zanzibar Electoral Commission, the Public Service Commissions, the Zanzibar Public Service Commission, the Judicial Service Commission, the Zanzibar Judicial Service Commission, the Controller Editor General, the Zanzibar Controller Editor General, and the Public Procurement Registry Agency, the Reforms Committee, the Zanzibar Law Reforms Commission. So all the mainland as well as the Zanzibar Island, the President's Office, Planning Commission, and Zanzibar Planning Commission and the Tanzania Communication and Regulatory Authority also will take part to protect and promote the human rights in the Union Republic of Tanzania. In addition to that, Tanzania's vibrant civil society provides a support to the state institutions, including the provision of the free legal aid services, yes, free legal aid services, public education, and monitoring of the government activity in the promotion and the production of the human rights. Then we go to the NHREAP as a vehicle for the further production of the human rights. It plays an important role, and there is a growing convictions the implementation of the human rights principle will strengthen the social harmony and cohesion, advance the process of the development. Yes, these are all the agency will see that only one thing, let the human rights production and promotion should be there in the entire Union Republic of Tanzania, and promote the accountability and the legitimacy of the government. Even the government also violates any human rights should be, yes, they will be also come under the purview of it. The Tanzania government is mindful of the interrelated nature of the development, and peace and security will be prevail on the human rights in the line with the outcome of the major international and regional consultations would be maintained. The National Human Rights Action Plan highlights the country's commitment to international and the regional human rights norms and mechanisms. And then we come to the human rights when objectivity applied, ensure that the benefit of the human development reach even the most disadvantaged people, marginalized people, and the human person is at the center of the both human rights and human development. So when human development and human rights are in advance together, they reinforce each other, expanding the people's capabilities and protecting the fundamental rights and freedoms. The NHRAP helps to ensure the national development strategies as well as inform the human rights based approach, HRBA, whereby human rights are mainstreamed in the development agenda. In so doing, or in doing so, the NHRAP strengthened the duty bearers, acknowledgements and accountability with regard to the human right through the various capacity building initiatives. Then in implementing the NHRAP, the government Tanzania strives to more effectively discharge in three basic duties in respect of protect and fulfill the realization of the human rights. The duty to the respect requires the duty bearer not to breach directly or indirectly the enjoyment of any human rights. The duty to protect requires that the duty bearer to make the measure and prevent the third parties from the abusing the right. The third duty is the duties to fulfill the requires the duty bearers to adapt the appropriate legislative, administrative and other measures toward the full realization of the human rights. So the three duties clearly mentioned, and those should be adhered and followed over there. Now let us see what is the linkage between the NHRP and the development plans, how it can be compared together, and how it can be go together. Yes, when the NHRP should not be looked at as an isolated action plan separate from other national development process. They are all linked together, interwoven. We cannot separate them. And during the process of the formulating the NHRAP, the coordination committee took into account the national development goals and the policies, strategies, objectives, programs, and specific interventions that directly or indirectly relate to the human rights. So the NHRP takes a note of the Tanzania Development Vision of the 2025 also, under which the Tanzania is expected to be a nation imbued with the five main attributes. In the 225, they make the five attributes be imbued over there. Number one, high quality livelihood. A life should be not merely a life. It should be a high quality livelihood and the livelihood. Yes, high quality livelihood with their livelihood. And the number two, a good governance should be there from all aspects of it, the government organization. The third point is peace, stability and unity. If the peace is not there, nothing is there. And the peace is there, the stability is there. And the stability is there, then that comes to the unity. So unity, stability and peace, they are all interwoven. So one cannot divide it with another. The fourth imbued, the goal is a well-educated and learning society. A well-educated, there is a reason that in the constitution of Tanzania also the free education will be given up to the primary level or the, yes, I've been in the primary level at least, but in India up to the 14 years. And the fifth imbued point is the competitive economy capable of the producing a sustainable growth and shared benefit. So the economy also will be taken into part, and that economy should be a sustainable one. That means there will not be any depletion of the natural resources, and there will not be any depletion or the exhaustion of the natural minerals also. And sustainable growth should be there, and the standard and shared benefit should be made. Then in addition to the NHRP considers the national strategy for the growth and reduction of the poverty, and the NSGRP is a properly known in Kiswahili in acronym Mukukuta 2 and Mukuza 2 for the Zanzibar. The strategy is the development framework forming the part of the Tanzanian efforts to deliver on its national vision 2025, and they will see that the poverty level should be reduced. And in achieving the Millennium Development Goals, that is the MDGs, which is a goal which is made there, yes, and the growth of the poverty reduction agenda. The overall, the point is now they would like to, this acronym, the Mukukuta in the main Tanzania mainland and Mukuza in the Zanzibar. It is based on the three clusters and each with a set of goals and targets. These clusters are number one, growth and development, reduction of the poverty. There should be a growth. A growth will come at that instance only when the reduction of poverty would be there. And then number two, improved quality of life and social well-being. A quality of life will be made at the time only when the poverty will be reduced. And the social well-being. A man will have the social well-being at that instance only he should be educated and he should be free from the poverty also. Means employment facilities should be given to the youth, those who are qualified and eligible to do so. And the third point is governance and accountability. The government should have to make an effort to see that whether the proper implementation is going on there. If any violations would be there, then those who are accountable, either the government servants or the civil society or any other perpetrators and who violated the human rights in the Republic of Tanzania. In the human rights context, all clusters are relevant since human rights are cross-cutting issues. We cannot separate it. Each one is interwoven with each other issues which are mentioned there in the 1, 2, 3. And in fact, the reduction of the poverty helps to realize the many human rights ranging from economic rights, social rights, cultural rights, civil rights, political rights. These are all should be given irrespective of the caste, creed and religion. The prevailing principles in the world today is that human rights are indivisible, inalienable, and it cannot be waived also. Whether they are the civil or a political right, such as the right to life, the equality before the law and equal protection of the law, and freedom of expression and economy, social and cultural rights, such as the rights of the decent work and social equality and social security and a good education, or the collective rights such as the right to development and self-determination are indivisible. They cannot be waived, it cannot be alienated. And interrelated, and they are interrelated and independent. They are intertwined like a dovetail giant. The improvement of the one right facilitates the advancement of the others. Likewise, the deprivation of the one right adversely affects the others. Yes, it is a chain. If one of the link will be disturbed, the whole chain would be no use at all, disturbed. So, taking into this regard, with regard to it, poverty can be eradicated without the realization of the human rights. It cannot be possible. Then the poverty reduction would, depending upon the social plan, economic plan, and the providing the employment and increasing the GDP of a nation by revolutionizing the industry and using the modern technology in the cultivation also. In the words of the Human Rights Development Report 2000, a decent standard of living and adequate nutrition, healthcare, education, decent work, and protection against the calamities are not just development goals, they are all human rights. So they are not the development goals. All aspect of it comes under the human rights. That's why we can say the human rights violation from the womb to tomb or from the cradle to the grave. So furthermore, the NHRP, RAP cognizant various public sector reforms in Tanzania starting from the 2000, and reforms have been espoused to ensure the economic growth and the quality service inside the priority sectors. Yes, the growth comes at that instance only when the GDP will be increased. These reforms include the public service reforms and local government reforms and programs and legal sector reforms programs, public financial management reforms programs, and health sector reform programs. In all the aspects of it, there should be reform programs will be there which will attain the goal, that is the protection and promotion of the human rights in the Union Republic of Tanzania. Generally, the reforms have in the past focused on the structural reforms and capacity building. Yes, merely it is not only the paper-based one, and there should be a good machinery would be there, and there will be allocation of the funds to see that it will be implemented in the proper way. What the majority of Tanzania awaits now is quality improvement, that is, they translate to the people-oriented development. And the similarity is that the government of Tanzania has unleashed the first 5-year plan, that is the FYDP, and the spanning from the 2011 to 12 to 2015 to 16. Again, from that time onwards to the till now, the plan is the formal implementation tool for the country's development agenda, and is articulated in the Tanzania Development Vision 2025. Merely, it is not a paper-based one. The executive machinery should be there, and there is a fund should be available to see that it will be the goal of the making such a vision should be fulfilled. These policies and programs require the government of Tanzania through the MDS and the collaboration with the various development partners to take the appropriate action to improve the social welfare of its people. That is the main motto. By providing the social amenities like the quality education, health, transportation, infrastructure, and potable water, sanitation, hygiene, then the human development and the human rights advance together, the reinforce of each other, expanding the people's capabilities and protecting their fundamental rights and freedoms. So these are the aspects one should have to make an efforts. Then the subject issues addressed by the NHRP also will be taken into consideration when you are reading the topic of the protection and promotion of the human rights in the Tanzania. The protection and the promotion of the human rights is not limited to a single topic. It is interwoven with the various sectors or government ministries, department of or agencies, and recognized of the NHRP is identical to 23 human rights issues arranged in 4 thematic headings to priorities and improving the coordination and production and promotion as outlined below. So they gave all the civil rights or political rights, economic rights, cultural rights, group of the specified needs, and institutional strengthening and emerging issues. They are all will be given, and how it can be made the civil and political right, and how it can be made the right to life, and how it can be made the current situations. It is enumerated in the report, and the challenges also they made again, that we have to Tanzania face member of challenges. Earlier also we discussed it, but the right to life, including the other things which is mentioned, the Roman 1 to Roman 5 is there. Then the objectives also there from the Roman number 1 to 7. Then the background to the problem also be given in it, and all the report would be there, and the current situation, how it can be. The current situation is also mentioned in the action plan, and again the challenges individually they mentioned. The total challenges 12 in the handout which I am going to give you to the students by sending them. In addition to the 12, they will be increased to the 13, 14, 15 up to the 17 are there. And again they will make objectives regarding it, and these are objectives the same. Any object you take, any purpose you make it out, that is all reaches to one. That's like a saying goes, all roads leads to the Rome. In the same manner, all strategies, all plans, all developments, all programs, all reforms, either by the government or independent agency, they have to see that product and promotion of the human rights without any discrimination. In the objectives also they have given the same manner, and the freedom of opinion expression, how it can be done, and its background, it is clearly mentioned in the handout. Again we can say the challenges also in the particular area, and the objectives which is made over there. So each point of the freedom of accessibility, again the background, objectives and aims, challenges were given in the same manner. The handout is covering the many aspects of it. In each aspect of it, we have to mention some of the points which are very much common to take the
So I spend a lot of time working on social media for my clients. I create a lot of video content